Welcome to our TikTok creator panel. Thank you so much for joining us. We do apologize. We know we're supposed to start earlier, but nonetheless, we are here. I think, let me do a very quick icebreaker before we get into the serious stuff. I want to challenge you guys. Please put 5 fingers up. And if your answer is yes at each question rather, please put a finger down. Finger down if you have a TikTok account. Finger down if you follow any of the creators that are with me on stage today. Okay. Finger down if you have posted any TikToks since arriving at fame. Finger down if you know the official hashtag of Fame Week. Okay. And last one, finger down if you know what we will be discussing here today. I'm sure we all know. All right, cool, brilliant. So I'll start by introducing myself. I am Vivian Chweni. I am the Content Partnerships Manager for TikTok South Africa, and I look specifically after all of our entertainment brands and content creators. I do not roll solo. I wouldn't have a job without these guys that are sitting with me on stage because they are literally the lifeline of what TikTok is today. So today we will be talking about how they have managed to use TikTok to catapult their content creation career, but also shape stories because they are storytellers. I'll start on my left. She is on the pulse of pop culture. Ooh, tongue twister. And if you are looking for anything that is trending at that time in terms of current affairs, she's got you. She's your girl. She does entertainment news as well. She does really great roundups of events and really funny commentary. She is also a nominated content creator. She's been nominated for the DSTV Content Creator Awards. Please give Zethu Kola a round of applause.
Hey guys.
And next to her, with the very colorful hair, is someone who reports on true crime stories. She loves herself a good true crime story. She does really great commentary on it on her TikTok account. This is Bella Monsoon. Please give her a round of applause. And please, if you haven't seen this one, I don't know where you have been. On my right, I have Tadeus, who is literally telling stories through comedy. He literally tells really amazing, funny stories and through comedy. Some of you may have seen him on TikTok, and he's really done an amazing job with growing his presence on the platform. Welcome to this. And lastly, I have another one with colorful hair. Clearly, we are people of color here. He is also an entertainment creator. He does really great commentary, whether it's a movie, whether it's a new song. He will educate you, okay, on the platform, but also entertain you. Omamoto, please give him a round of applause. All right, cool. So I think I'm going to jump right straight into it. I am going to be asking them questions. This is a very, informal session, but we will give you guys time to ask questions as well. Let me start with Zethu. I started with you with the introduction,
yes.
So I guess I'll start with you. Let's talk about how TikTok has helped you discover yourself in the content creation space, and that time when you were like, I got it, when you found your niche and your voice on the platform.
Well, I wasn't a content creator until my TikTok blew up. I had no dreams of content creating. And when it started happening, I've more or less been going with the flow. But I am also a marketer. I was a journalist once upon a time, but I was more of a fashion journalist, not the crime I'm fighting in the streets today. It's really put me in an interesting position where I found that I recognized a space I fill, especially for people who aren't necessarily interested in the news, which a lot of people aren't, especially young people. And I've been able to deliver that in my normal conversational voice and the way that I speak to my friends, and it seems it resonates with the public. So in a lot of ways, I want to keep informing people about what's going on. A lot of people do complain that you're not accurate, and I'm like, this isn't the news, bruh. I'm at home in my hoodie where we are not bringing you anything live from Parliament, but it's been interesting, and I wasn't having any plans of content creation until I got nominated for that award, because now it feels like I must do something about it. Like I must open a YouTube, I must add subtitles, I need lighting or something, you know. Yeah, so it's helping me discover who I am on the internet. Yeah.
I love that. So I'll move over to you, Bella. I think you have done such an incredible job in terms of reporting on true crime stories. But girl, why do you love crime so much? Why true crime stories?
So the thing is, I work within the mental health field outside of content creation. So I have two very different worlds that exist. So a lot of my job entails understanding the minds and the behavior of individuals and what leads them to do what they do. So that's obviously drawn me to understanding why people commit crimes, because it's not just something that they just decide on the spur of a moment. It's a whole lot of things that work together in their environment, within themselves, that come together to actually lead to them creating the crimes that they do. And so for me, I think it's really important to be able to understand that and to share it with others as well, so that people can also spot signs, they can see behavior changes, and things can be done also sooner rather than later. So it's about understanding the true crime, but also about educating about the way and the route to the crime itself.
Yeah, so I have a follow-up question to that. Just because, you know, we are a short-form video platform, why did you specifically choose to do it on the TikTok platform? What was the thing that pushed you to use it as a tool to tell those stories?
So I think like Zetu mentioned, not everyone watches the news these days, especially the younger generation. They're just not interested in the news in the way that the older generations were. And so for me, TikTok is the perfect platform because it's quick. Within a minute to 3 minutes, most of my videos are, I'm able to tell a story, I'm able to explain what happened, and I'm able to wrap it up and get that message through, that narrative through, that event through, and it reaches a lot more people than traditional media has previously and is previously, especially in regards to the news. So for me, I feel like TikTok is a great platform for me to actually spread that awareness on a big scale at a very quick pace.
I love that. All right, I'll move over to you, James. Tadeus. You know, when I saw Tadeus the first time, he had created a video. I think you were reporting on the weather.
Yes.
That weatherman
Uh-huh.
video, which was absolutely hilarious. But tell me about that moment when you actually found your place within TikTok or the content creation space. Because I think you're one of those people that people didn't really expect to grow as much as you did on the platform. And you were actually doing lip syncs. You still are, right?
Yes.
Which is something different. But tell me about that moment when you actually discovered yourself as a content creator, but also when you saw that it's actually a thing for you.
Am I audible? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So I've always known that I'm quite a phenomenal actor, and I realized that social media allowed me to express that side of myself. And I think the journey would have been quite different, or it wouldn't be what it is had it not been for TikTok. Had it been another platform, I don't think it would be the same. And so I realized that, okay, because I love to act and I also love to laugh, I combined both of these. And with also realizing that, I once said this before, that South Africans love a good time. You know, South Africans work hard, but they really also love a good time.
Yeah.
So I combine all of that and I create the content to give that sort of good time. And with me being an actor and also loving to laugh, I choose the comedic sounds for a reason. All of it is to showcase my acting skills, but also to keep people entertained. Yeah.
I love that. So I actually forgot to mention, guys, he's also an award nominee at the DSTV Content Creator Awards. Omamoto. So I think Omar, for me, I just want to know, you have done such an amazing job in terms of cementing yourself as a content creator. How was that journey for you? Because I know just because we do work closely together,
Yeah.
you know, there were a few moments where you were quite unsure of the kind of content direction you should be taking. But how has that journey been for you of the content, you know, being a
Yeah.
content creator and finding your niche and discovering exactly the kind of direction you would like to focus on?
Yeah. You can hear me, right? Cool. I think every day is a second guessing moment, and I'm comfortable with that now.
Right.
It's every single day when I wake up and I go to my account and I look at this video is doing this video, that video is doing that.
Right.
It's a moment of, is this the direction you want to be going? And for me, it's always a matter of just being true to myself with whatever I'm doing. Because, I mean, your perception of me, just looking at me, might be something that is different to who I really am, right? I listen to hardcore punk. I'm gonna drop a video later about death metal. So it's a matter of just authentically trying my best to live my truth all the time. And I think it always comes back to being able to find not necessarily people that are like-minded, but people that can appreciate you for being who you are.
Yeah.
For me, I went in my teen years. It's obviously everyone's misunderstood. Everyone feels like they're out of place, but things like bullying, being into this, and being out of place in a certain school and all that, that was resolved now after joining TikTok, after being in this space now where I can rock up with my hand tattoos and do the things and enjoy the things that I do and obsess over Disney shows that nobody else watches and just watch 3 hours of Bluey and go and do a review about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I still don't know what my niche is. And I think that is the fun thing for me, is finding out day by day. I might go 2 weeks without posting just because I don't feel like it. And you always tell me, no, but you need to be consistent. I want to take a break, Vivian. I want to take a break. I posted for the first time today after 2 weeks, just because I didn't feel like it. And I think that is the space that I'm occupying. I'm not chasing followers anymore. I'm comfortable with what I'm doing and putting out what I'm putting out.
Yeah. So, okay, I am still audible. And I love that you kind of like speak to how you're also able to take time out,
Yeah.
but still retain the audience that you have
Yeah.
on that platform. So I'm gonna throw it over to you, Zetu. You had a very interesting story about how one day you bumped into Bonang and she knew exactly who you are.
I think it's like the highlight of my life, you know? I was like, oh my gosh, it's her. And we make eye contact, and she was like, oh my God. And I was like, surely it's one of her friends that she's, oh my God, and not me, not little old me.
So at what point in your content creation journey did you realize that you could actually make something out of it, or it is the thing?
I think
Would you say that was?
it's the moment Bonang asked me, was like, come here, and then like I came closer. We were both freaking out, and she was it was her launch of a collection she had done with Steve Madden. First she invited me. First I thought, okay, that's the PR agency. And then when she made eye contact, she stopped speaking to whoever she was speaking with. She poked the camera people that were filming her event. She was telling the House of Bonang stand, get her a six-pack, get her 2 six-packs. And I was like, Bonang, where am I taking these? Are we drinking them now? So I think at that entire situation made me realize that this is a thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe ordinary people stopping you in the street is a thing, but for me, like Bonang's my icon
Yeah.
in general. Like as a businesswoman, just the moves she's made, how much she's come up. She's, yeah.
Yeah. So, just as a follow up to that story, so you have now found an audience on this platform. What would you say you have done right to retain the audience, but also to grow your audience on the platform?
I'm also addicted to being on social media, so that kind of fuels the creation of the content. And I think it's maybe consistency and authenticity of being myself. And I think also when I meet people in the real world, some people do treat me like an influencer, but I feel like a regular citizen. So I think like just continuing to be genuine in front of people is
Yeah.
also quite a lot. I also work from home and I'm mostly at home. So when I walk out the house and someone knows who I am, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And then they always tell me I watch the news because of you. I know what's going on because of you. First of all, guys, go read the news. Also, please go read the news. I'm begging you to read the news. Yeah. I hope I answered your
Amazing.
question.
Yes, you did. Thank you so much. Over to you, Bella. So, I think yours is quite niche, you know, just because you are focusing on real stories, true crime stories. How would you say the journey to you discovering your audience has been, but also growing it on the platform?
So I think it's actually been quite interesting because I started off as a beauty creator. I was doing full SFX makeup looks, transforming myself into weird and wacky characters. And one day I just did a lip sync video to like a Halloween crime story, and I was just doing my makeup to the video. And all of a sudden everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is so interesting. Like, this story is so interesting. Like, we want part 2, we want to hear more. It wasn't even my audio, I was just lip syncing to it. And so I thought, I wonder if I look up some like Halloween kind of spooky stories, things that happened in South Africa, like real kind of legends, urban legends. And so I actually started a series on my TikTok creating makeup looks whilst telling individuals about urban legends that happened in South Africa, things like the Tokoloshi and Pinky Pinky, and things that are just like weird and wonderful but are all South African. And people were like, oh wow, like we didn't know this was a thing, like this is so interesting. And for me, that's kind of how it started spiraling into creating beauty content to storytelling. And I think that's the foundation of my platform, is storytelling. I think that's what brings people back every single time. They want to know the latest update to a case. They want to know what's happening now. Like, do you know what's happening now with this case? And have you heard about this? And they'll tag me, and they'll always tag, like I always get tagged a lot in Zetu's videos.
Yeah, and they always ask me to make a video. Now,
Yeah.
please just go to Bella.
Yeah, and I'm always sending them back to her. So, like, we keep getting tagged in each other's videos, and I'm just like, because I also do some of the like news content as well. So it's very interesting because people kind of use TikTok as a platform now
Yeah.
to keep themselves up to date with current affairs. So it's
Yeah.
nice to be part of a journey that can actually help in educating and being part of that, sharing current affairs.
No, 100%. And I think it's interesting that you use storytelling as a thing,
Yeah.
because what you want to do, it doesn't matter what the kind of content that you create on the platform. You really want to tell a story. It's the one thing that will hook people
Yeah.
onto, you know, your page, your account, and follow you. So
I think
I'll-
before you go on,
Yes.
I think also to add to what she's saying about the tagging each other thing, sometimes you meet someone in real life and they're really cool. Like we met a few months ago, and although some people like I'll do a true crime story like once every few months, and then some people will be hooked and follow me for that reason. And then you befriend someone who puts their entire, like all their platform is about is that. So you help each other kind of like,
Yeah.
you know what, you want to hear about that guy, you can go there. Sometimes I
Yeah.
start reporting on a case or something, and then I lose interest because as much as I'm keeping people updated, again, I'm not the news. So people will be like, did you see this happen? Can we get an update? So then you also start to point them to other creators, and like you form like little pockets of communities.
And that's engagement. And TikTok loves engagement. But before I move over to you today, I actually had a follow-up for you, Bella. How much research goes into your stories? Because you tell the story right from the beginning, even if it was a story from 1999. You will go back and you'll kind of like take us into the journey and the story with you.
Yeah, so I do a lot of research for each of my cases, even if they're just small things, just because I want to provide informed content. I want to make sure that it's factually correct as much as I can. Obviously, the news cannot be all right all the time, so I collate a whole bunch of articles and I compare them to one another, and then I actually spread, hopefully, more factual knowledge to people. So it does take me hours to days, depending on how intricate the case goes.
Amazing. I think you do a really incredible job on that. Today, so storytelling through comedy, which is a thing that we're starting to see. South Africans are funny, guys. South Africans are really,
Yeah,
really
they really
hilarious
are.
people. But tell me about how you then managed to also find an audience within the platform, because we know that there's so much that happens on TikTok, right? And finding your community, your audience really does take time.
It does.
Tell us about that journey for you and how it kind of like happened over time.
Funny enough, I've had TikTok before what is even named TikTok. I've had it since the days it was called Musically, and that was like around 2015. And at that time, you were still lip syncing to your favorite songs or the songs that were trending back then. And then as time went by, I think people started realizing that you can do much more than just hop on trending music. You can actually create content and actually create comedy as well. And I think it was round about the end of 2020, just after the hectic lockdown, where my first video went viral. I lip synced to a Parliament video, and then people absolutely loved that. And then from there onwards, I started creating even more, and then more and more people loved that. And then I think it's just been up from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get pressure to continue to be hilarious because you really are funny?
I do. Funny enough, I do. And I do go through a period where I have this creative block and I don't know what to do. I do take a break. I feel like in those moments, it's important to just listen to your body and your mind and just take a break. And it goes for anything in life in general. It's important to listen to what your body is telling you. And then from there onwards, I think you'll come back much better. And then things will be sort of easier for you. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. So, Omar,
Yeah.
I know that you have worked with some brands,
Yeah.
including this one,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure people are interested to know how, some of the TikTok creators have been able to position themselves where brands can now come to them and
Yeah.
say, hey, I think your content is really cool.
Yeah.
I think it aligns to my brand. I would like to collaborate with you. Tell us about, some of those brands and how those collaborations have almost helped in your content creation career.
Yeah, I think, look, I'm the wrong person to ask for career advice because I kind of just fall into things, and my philosophy in life is if something happens and it's nice, be happy about it and be excited about it.
Right.
Don't.
It's off, I think.
One, two.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
The
Oh,
mic
sorry.
is
Oh,
on.
it's back.
Whatever happens, whatever comes your way, be excited about it. Don't ever say the word influencer around me. It's a dirty word to me. I've worked now for the last year with the DSTV Content Creator Awards as the face of the awards, but also doing the content behind the scenes and acting sort of as a content director kind of situation, and in Fame Week as well, doing content for them as well. And I think the main thing is to just try and position yourself to be in their line of sight. If you are an entertainment creator, you want to be creating about the shows that people are watching. That you don't want to be too much of a generalist. Obviously, have the things that you are interested in be the main focus of your output, but always have an angle. Same as journalism, same as any kind of storytelling, the angle will always be the most important part. And I suck at networking. I'm terrible at going up to somebody and saying, hi, my name is, it's bad for me. I would rather walk the other direction. But luckily my CV is my profile. So whatever you put out, try and have a consistent character, a consistent voice, a consistent feeling of, I feel that the word authenticity gets thrown around a lot, but still, as much as it may become something that feels cliche, it is very, very important. There's only one you, and be as much you as you can possibly be at all times, and they will see. They will see that you're doing this work, and they will come at you and ask at least, hey, would you be down to do this for us? I mean, that's how it's happened for me.
Yeah.
And I'm, once again, excited every time.
Yeah.
If I get a box of shoes in the mail, that's hype.
Amazing. Zethu. So I saw you were at the Levi's event. Was it an event? Tell us about, the brand recognition that has now come with your content creation, and if you have started making money off it. Of course, TikTok we're not monetized, but what we do is we always try to pay our content creators with the right brands and give you those opportunities to start making money. But tell me about, those PR drops, brand recognition, and if you have started monetizing from said brands.
So I monetize very rarely just because of the type of content that I deliver. My community is always happy to see a paid partnership tag, but I think because I tell things that are relatable to other people and that are factual about what's going on, I always feel that if I'm a walking billboard, then I'll become less believable. Also, I am a marketing strategist on the side. I create marketing strategies for musicians for like the releases of their albums and singles, etc. So in terms of brands, I come across them a lot just for my own campaigns. So sometimes, I'll pop up in someone's mailbox being like, hey, Msaki is releasing a single in like 3 months, and I'm trying to do an influencer drop. They're like, oh, yes, we'll give you something, but we would like you for a campaign. So sometimes we find each other that way.
Nice.
I also work in the media space. So that's the whole being dressed by Levi's, the GQ thing. Funny enough, that was for my real job. But then my real job has given me the opportunity to create content to showcase on TikTok. But I think the value I can bring to what you're asking in a different way is because I have a serious career and then I'm Mickey Mousing on the side on the internet. I found myself in a crisis where I worked all my life to be known for something in my job, and then now I'm known as the girl from TikTok, and that became really, really frustrating. So I've been trying to break myself out of that and back to being the person who's known for my career. So it's doing reach outs to media personally. An example is the Content Creator Awards, or a special moment that's going to happen. I hired a publicist. I wanted her to create a press release. The only thing that made me relevant to the public in this press release was the fact that it was the DSTV Content Creator Awards. I asked her, obviously I've also worked in PR before, can you lead with the Content Creator Award, but can you pitch me to talk about my actual career so I could balance the scale again? And I
Yeah.
think that's advice that a lot of aspiring TikTokers can use. It's also something that's helped me get on things like TV regularly, usually for content creation purposes, but you find that it helps you be taken seriously in the media as well, because everyone is coming across as wanting to be famous on the internet, and it's hard to break the barrier of internet fame and real fame. I'm not trying to be really famous. I'm just trying to pivot back to still being taken seriously by my peers. And it's not that I have shame on what I'm doing. I just have a discomfort because I'm getting used to it. But I also have this other thing that I value so much that I'm not willing to get, rid of. But if that's the advice I can give content creators, where you see yourself fitting into the media, reach out to the media. Introduce yourself. This is who I am. This is what I talk about. Start with varsity radios like your VOW FM, your Rhodes Music Radio, and ask them if you can talk about a topic that you discuss on the internet or to speak about yourself. You don't have to necessarily leverage on a moment. It's always easier when something happens in your life to be more of an interesting news story. But yeah.
Amazing. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think it's important but also amazing that you try to find the balance between your professional life and your content creation life.
I've also realized that's how you get the big bags of brands.
100%.
Because it's one thing to have your rate that you normally do, but you can push the boundaries of the level of brands you get if you also put yourself in the media.
Amazing. Bella, moving over to you, have you had any brand interests that have come forward to you wanting to, partner with you on the content strategy, and they thought, this is an amazing content creator that would like to actually collaborate with?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, being in the beauty niche, I had so many different brands wanting to work with me because there's so many different makeup brands and hair brands and this and that. And as I started creating more content that was away from that, I was a bit worried. I was wondering whether I would still have brand opportunities. And for a while, they were very quiet because I didn't want to keep taking beauty partnerships because I wasn't feeling that niche. I didn't feel like I was the best person for that particular partnership. But what happened over a space of a few months, I started having brands come and wanting to work with me that actually fitted and aligned with me in such great ways. I worked on the Showmax brand campaign for the release of Rosemary's Killer. And Rosemary's Hit List, sorry. And that was an amazing thing, and they approached me for that. I even worked on a KFC campaign, which was about why don't we eat chicken for breakfast? So they wanted us to, the influencers, they wanted us to create kind of like controversy and conspiracy, and so they actually reached out to me because they enjoyed the kind of content I created, and they felt that would align with their brand. So it was something completely different. I mean, KFC and my content, I would have never kind of put it together, and I actually created a really exciting campaign for them. And so it's just been interesting to see how the difference in brands approaching me and how I was still able, even with the content I create, to adapt it and have it received well by my audience as well, because authenticity is number one. Like Zetu was saying, I don't want to lose my authenticity as someone who actually lets you know what's going on and it's factual and honest. I don't want to seem like I'm just accepting things based on wanting to get a paycheck.
Amazing. I love that. I'm going to ask Tadeus a question, and then I'll just maybe throw it quickly to the audience in case there's someone who's dying to ask a question. So I saw you had a paid partnership with Netflix where you did this very hilarious skit for young, famous and African. Tell us about those moments as well, where brands have started finding you and partnering with you on collaborations like that, that makes sense for the kind of content that you create.
First of all, I think I can never get used to brand collaborations. I've worked with quite a lot at this point in time, but every time I get a new one, I just can't get used to it because I remember the first time I got one, it clicked to me that, okay, this is a very serious thing that's going on here. I'm not just being a clown on the internet. Like there's some serious things happening here. I think it's those kind of moments that click onto me. Even when people recognize me in public, those kind of moments really, I can never get used to them. I've also been nominated now also for the DSTV Content Creator
Ooh,
Awards.
I'm so sorry.
2 times,
Twice.
and it's really,
I'm so sorry, Tadeus. That's why I'm choking on my water. Because you're like,
Even for content
you
creator
forgot.
of the year.
Oh, my word. I'm so sorry. Nominated twice, guys. Please give him a round of applause.
Thank you. So it's those kind of moments that really click onto me that this is a very, it's a serious thing. And one of my favorite designers is dressing me for the ceremony. So it's very, yeah. So to me, it's been such a beautiful journey also. Because for me, I'm using social media as a catalyst to get into entertainment because I'm such an all-round creative. And I do so many things. And I've now merged into being a host and being an artist. And it's been so great. And I say it again, like the journey would have been different had it been another platform and it had not been TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to TikTok. So I'm going to just take a few questions. I don't know how many I can take. I've just been notified of time. But I'll throw it over to you guys. If you have any questions, please go for it. Okay, we have a question here. I don't know if you have the microphone. Oh, there. It's coming. No, you guys will have to share the mic now.
Want to.
Hi, my name is Tiri. I wanted to ask because two of you mentioned how you have careers on the side on top of being on TikTok. When looking at how big international content creators have gone, do you feel that as South African creators, do you feel that we are at a point where we can now have fully fledged careers just from content creation, or we're not like at that particular point when looking at where international content creators are?
I think that the African creative economy is incredible and it's growing, but it's also a highly competitive space, and the costs that different creators give brands fluctuate so much. As a marketer, I can tell you that if I'm releasing a song in Nigeria and I know that the third biggest market for that artist is South Africa, I'm going to run a TikTok creator campaign that is using South African creators because it's more affordable than using someone from the US. So as long as marketers and brands still look at it like that, which is unfortunate because it is a budget by budget kind of breakdown. It's not trying to take advantage of a cheaper economy to get something through. I also think that, it depends. In the US, it's easy for media to recognize TikTokers as serious people, put them in the news. You have E! Online, which as a international gossip, whatever, and channel, they have an entire bottom bar of their website that's dedicated to things happening on TikTok or things that TikTok stars are doing. You have your Daily Mails in the UK who have an entire side of Daily Mail just dedicated to people following TikTokers like celebrities. So I think it's because those two different continents do view TikTok creators as real celebrities, and because I think their celebrity environments, their events from your Vanity Fairs to your Marie Claire's and Cosmos see internet fame as a step to real fame, versus in South Africa where our traditional media and tabloids still treat an internet star like an internet star. They'll be like TikToker so-and-so. They won't say, this person who's also an entrepreneur and started on TikTok. They always make that social media thing the be-all and end-all of a content creator. So I think the minute that every aspect of media, from the brands to the marketers to the news and the radio themselves, start looking at content creators as the same level as the OG influencers of Instagram before TikTok blew up, start looking at it as a TikTok creator who has the same followers as an Instagram creator as equals, it'll get there, but I think it's going to take a lot longer. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you. Another question?
Hi, sorry, I'm Lerato, and this can be taken by whoever, right? So obviously we go through different days. how do you then make sure that on your off days, off meaning when you're not feeling so good, you still curate content? How do you stay true to yourself and true to your brand and true to your followers with regards to all the content that you create? And also, how do you protect yourself against negativity that we get online? Because we know that people can say things, right? So, yeah.
Do you
that's my
have
question.
someone,
I-
anyone specific, or
I-
you want to take that?
Yes.
Go for it.
I think it's important to always go back and try to remember why did you start creating content at first. Try to tap into that joy, because I think a lot of us started creating content out of joy, right? And it's been fun. And then as soon as you start getting opportunities, it may feel like you're working. It may feel like, now this is a job. It's important to go back and remember that at the end of the day, this brings me joy, and that's why I started. Also, with the negative comments, I think that's the downside of putting yourself out there. You will find people that may critique in a bad way or may give you opinions that don't align to how you see yourself. And it's very important to always tap back into that joy. Why did I start creating? How did I feel? And how does creating make me feel? And try not to have it in your head that this is a job. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, go for it. Oh, you want a mic? Sorry.
So, today is right on the money, but also on a day-to-day, practical way of dealing with negative comments. Turn it into more content. It's a way for you to process it by managing it, making it less in your face, because now it is something that you are taking the power away from by responding to it. So whatever you want to do, you can make fun of it, you can argue with it, you can do whatever you want with it, but turn it into something that you can manage, that you have agency over. And once again, that takes it back to what Tadeusz was saying. It's a joyful place again.
Thank you, Omar. We're going to take 2 last questions and we'll wrap up. No more questions. Oh, sorry, guys. I think if you want to ask any more questions, you can catch up with these amazing content creators just outside here. We do have to make way for the next session, but thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk or panel, and yeah, you can catch up with us after this. We're still around, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Please do follow them on TikTok, just to keep, their accounts growing. Follow them, engage with them, and yeah, thank you for joining us.